All right, so here we are live, and I'm making a video, and it's not going to be the easiest video that I've ever made, or probably the longest. And I will tell you why. Because over the last 2 days, I have spent them with my better half on the beach, and she really loves the beach. For those who don't know, my better half, she actually went to school for marine biology, and spent a lot of time like on the basically like studying, well, I guess aquatic life. But she loves the beach. She loves going. She loves swimming. I'm not a great swimmer, but she loves swimming, and just she's originally from Morocco. She loves the beach. We go there whenever we can. So not sure if it comes across on camera right now, but I am kind of kind of burnt a bit. Kind of got a bit of a sunburn. I was, putting on suntan lotion like crazy, trying to stay at the sun, put my shirt back on, all that type of stuff. But no, this whitey got burnt, and actually so did my better half this time. So it was really a lot of sun out. Anyway, today we are talking Kino. Why Kino? Because it is coming up on, it's August, and I know that doesn't seem like October is that close, but it really, really is. October is close, and especially if you're somebody that does the 31 Days of Horror, or if you just like Halloween, or the October month, and you're a big horror fan, or if you're like a movie YouTuber like me, 9/10 out of 10. Hey, hey, Stack, how's it going? Um, you're looking ahead to see what are you going to get for the Halloween month. Like what are the purchases going to be? So this year it's kind of hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been trying to figure out like how I'm gonna do my Halloween month. I've been going back and forth. Last year, if you watched my channel last year around October, I was in a dilemma of what to get. I was either going to get, hey Javed, hey Andy, I was either going to pick up the indicator set that came out for William Castle, or I was going to get the Vinegar Syndrome October package. Now, normally, I think by this time, the Vinegar Stream normally have their October package. They've only recently like said what their September one is going to be, so nobody knows what their October one is yet. But as for the other ones, I'm really trying to figure it out. Now, one company that has been catching my eye most recently, you can see a cat photobombing in the background right there. If you use your, but is what was I going to say? I totally lost it. The cat in the background made me totally lose it. Uh, Basically, it's Kino. Kino has a lot of stuff coming out this year. Now, over the last couple of years, Kino has always been one that I've been able to go to. Basically, Kino is fairly inexpensive as a company when you're collecting their stuff. Not only that, but when their October releases come out, they usually come out with some really nice, some nice slip covers, sometimes with some booklets, and it's usually some pretty good stuff, some stuff that you've been wanting for a while, like, especially from me. And I just over the last couple of years, what have I picked up from Kino? Well, the whole start of the whole thing was around 2 years ago. They put out Rawhead Rex, and as you can see, this was loaded with features. I remember back in the day when Kino, like with it, when if you got a theatrical trailer or audio commentary, that was considered a big thing. But they've really, really stepped up their game the last few years. And this one here, if you don't have this one, by the way, guys, it is amazing. Um, you get the book there, and there's yet another. And that fact is, that Kino Stack, like they do like such good like restorations on their films as well. It's just incredible stuff. And they're one of the only companies that I can think of that's still really doing 3D. Like a lot of companies have given up on 3D because you don't see 3D TVs around so much anymore. But if you're a fan of 3D like I am, or if you know who Rob Galuzza is, who's been on like Just the Disc quite a few times, and of course does Shockwaves, then you'll know that he's a huge fan of 3D, the same as I am. So whenever he can, he picks up 3D. Just to let you know, my drink for tonight is this one here. Is Fresca's Grapefruit Citrus Soda Water Beverage. My better half bought this because she likes Fresca, and she tasted it. We had like a cooler on the beach. All healthy snacks, by the way. And she couldn't. She took one sip and she said, "This is horrible. Taste it." So I did. And as you know, like with the bubbly and stuff like that, I can kind of get into these like soda water drinks. And this is unsweetened, so she thought it was like too not sweet, but I love it. Yeah, I can't. I got to be the same. I've never been unsatisfied with the Kino disc. Um, and Kino was a company that for a long time, I'll be honest with you, I didn't buy. The really kind of like the Scream Factories and stuff like that. What I'd always grab, but I'd always miss out on Kino stuff. Night Strangler, Night Stalker. I'll show you here. So these were what I picked up last year. So I picked up the Night, of course, the Night Stalker, which is the classic one. I do recommend this. If you don't have this one, guys, it's a great presentation of the film. There are some great features on here as well. There's a booklet in here. Great film that does stand the test of time. And you get like an audio commentary interview with the director, because this one here, although it is done by Dan Curtis. Dan Curtis didn't direct this. Actually, John Moxley did. No, not that that John Moxley, John Llewellyn Moxley, not the one that wrestles in AEW. There's an interview with the composer. There's a Night Stalker Dan Curtis interview featurette as well with the late Dan Curtis, and it is a really cool one. Which one do I prefer? It's hard to. I guess where I saw Night Stalker first, but Night Strangler has a special like place in my heart, and I'll explain it to you. When I was going to Ontario when I was when I was a young kid, we drove up there. It was my mom and my stepdad at the time, and in the back, pretty much it was one of those hatchback things. You know, we got in the back, and I had this book, this Night Stalker book, Night Strangler book, and I was reading it over and over again. So I had the book for Night Strangler. So for that reason, I think I might actually. I'm not sure if they're even. I got to go even. The transfers are really good. These are movies that were done in the early 70s for television, and when you see the transfers on these, they will blow your mind, and especially when you realize these were TV movies done in the 70s. Oh my God, they look incredible. Yeah, they are incredibly well done. Again, you get like interview on here with the composer, audio commentary by Tim Lucas. I think on both of these, right? Yeah, Tim Lucas does audio commentary for both these here. You definitely, and there's like this, oh God, what is it? I think this one's done in Seattle. All right. So you see this, like, there's this underground area. I wish 13th Wolfman was here, because he actually talked about it once when I was doing this. But this underground area of Seattle, and they filmed there. Well, sort of like, the best way to put it is, there would be no X-Files if there wasn't Kolchak, the Night Stalker. The Night Stalker actually, well, it goes back even farther than that. Dan Curtis made a TV film called The Norliss Tapes, and it was kind of a horror TV film, a horror sci-fi one. Did really well, and he planned to make a sequel to that. Now, due to some rights issues and that, he couldn't do a sequel to The Norliss Tapes, so he made another one. He got the rights to this book. He made Night Stalker. Night Stalker was a vampire film, and a really good one. And you got Darren McGavin, who's just really good in this type of like role as a reporter that once upon a time was up there, and he mouths off too much. He can't keep his mouth shut, and so powerful people have made sure that he's gone down to like pretty much as low as he can go in the reporting world. And this, he comes across this killer. Both. It is like it is definitely horror, but it's basically. But it does have kind of in an odd way, it has a kind of noir aspect to it. In many ways. So think horror meets film noir, because that's kind of what you get. Because one of the big tropes for film noir is you got these put-upon characters that things aren't going to work out. Like they're not going to be at the end of a film noir film. The guy's not going to nobody's going to come up and give him a medal. I like to equate the heroes of film noir to Chewbacca in Star Wars, because if you watch Star Wars, like they're all up there, and Luke and Leia and Han Solo and everybody, like everybody's getting medals and all that stuff, and just Chewie, who's like risked his life and limb, and is up there. No medal for Chewie. That's what a film noir hero's like. They're not getting the medal at the end. But it's really good. Darren McGavin does a great job. The guy that plays his boss, whose name escaped me right now, is incredible, and they found a way to bring him back for the sequel film, even though it's done in a different area. But it is incredibly well done. So it's a cross between a horror. Remember, it's a TV horror, and with a bit of noir aspects in there, including kind of like a voiceover narrative, which I really did enjoy. Now, the third one they put out that year was another Dan Curtis film. That would be Trilogy of Terror. This would be kind of a tour de force. Thank you. I totally forgot that. He's amazing too. Trilogy of Terror. And Karen Black, it's a tour de force for Karen Black. She would never call it a horror movie. She said she didn't do horror movies. But no, this is a horror film. This is a Zuni doll like chasing after. This is a horror film. Really cool, like 3 different stories in there. Now, I've told this before, but I actually, before these were able to buy, I got these through nefarious purposes. Found them online somewhere, and I wanted to show them to my kids and to my better half because I'd grown up with Trilogy of Terror. So I found Trilogy of Terror and Trilogy of Two online. So we decided to sit down and we watched them. And during the watching of the first Trilogy of Terror, I'm not going to lie to you, my better half went to the kitchen and like made a little bit of food and came back, and my daughter like went to the washroom a couple times. They were kind of restless. Then we put on Trilogy of Terror 2, which, by the way, stars Lizette Anthony, is kind of like doing the same thing Karen Black did, like the 3 stories. And they were like enraptured. They were really into Trilogy of Terror 2. I was really surprised. Most of the time, when you hear this, like hear Trilogy of Terror, people say, that's a classic. And then you hear Trilogy of Terror 2, and they're like, yeah, it's okay. But they were completely opposite. They were so in to the original trilogy of, they were so not in the original Trilogy of Terror, but they loved the second one. They liked the rat story. They thought the Zuni doll story worked better with Lizette Anthony, and they just found her a bit more engaging overall. Sacrilege. But they did. And what's neat about that is last year they put out Trilogy of Terror. This year they are actually putting out Trilogy of Terror 2. So that is one that is definitely coming home to my movie library. That's for sure for October, and I will be reviewing both of the films over the 31 Days of Horror, because we're gonna try and do that. I'm gonna try and do my 31 Days of Horror reviews a little bit differently, in the fact that I am going to try at least to do them live and keep it much in the way that I'm doing it here. That way I can do I can review the film, talk to you guys about it, get your thoughts on it, and we'll talk about other things as well. Because what my videos is never about just what's written on the header. So if people go to my video and think that's exactly what it is, and sometimes I'm not into this here, I'm not into the Kino Horror, I'm not into whatever Hammer type thing, you may be missing out on something really good, because my videos often swerve into a completely different direction. So anyway, there are a few. I got 8 written down of Kino movies that are coming out for October of this year. Now there's one other one that's already out, and I think I'm going to pick it up. It's actually fairly inexpensive. It stars John Carradine. You know what it is, guys. You know what it is. And I used to have this one a long time ago. I don't have it anymore. But it is Billy the Kid versus Dracula. So actually pretty cool. And when you really think about it, John Carradine is probably the most consistent Dracula actor. I can't think of any other actor that played Dracula as many times and throughout his lifetime. Like played him when he was young, played him when he got older. So he played like Dracula, in Vampire Hookers. He played Dracula back in the House of Dracula. But anyway, so that's one that I'm seriously thinking about getting, because there's another one, and I will get to it. So I'm going to open it up here and tell you guys like what's out because I just Kino, what's coming out that I'm curious on. You never cared for him as Dracula? I thought he did an okay job. I mean, like John Carradine is again, he's like an early stage actor. He's definitely a good actor, but he does tend to ham it up, and he does tend to play it larger. than you would expect. Uh, but John Carradine, much like Nicolas Cage now, I don't think he ever saw a role in a film that he didn't like or he didn't that he would turn down. You got to see him in movies that unfortunately may have been like a little bit under what John Carradine should have been in, and it did lower his stock eventually. But I always found that John Carradine worked more stage than when it was even when it was on screen. It's like some people can make that transition completely. Some people, you can appreciate what they do. Like I think John Carradine is one of those. You can appreciate what they do now, but you may not have so much so then. I haven't got through it yet. I sat down and watched it one night, and I was really tired, and so I haven't seen Mandy yet. So I'm sorry, but I will. Um, Maybe I'll wait till October now because yeah, that would actually be a good one. Oh, I'm glad I waited now. But no, I started to watch it, and I was kind of getting into it, but then I was just super super tired. To be completely honest with you, uh, you didn't think much of it. I don't know. I know it's divisive. All right. So here we go. You guys can tell me what you think of these movies as I mentioned them. So Kino is putting out Baby Blood, which is looks to be pretty gory. So oh yeah, a gore hounds the light, says Fangoria magazine, and it stars Emmanuel, somebody's name I can't pronounce, Jean-Francois Galette, and Christian Singer. I don't. I think I've seen this film. I don't remember it very well. Does anybody know this one? Because I picture, but I don't. This cover that the show looks isn't the greatest cover. It's like kind of seems like a kind of a a cut and paste type of cover. Not their Kino's usual stuff. So kind of shape. Like if you can see it there, it's not bad. I mean, it's like not great. It's not bad either. So I don't remember Baby Blood very well. Well, I get it. I don't know. That might be a pass actually for right now. I might wait for a sale for that one. Unless I hear something like somebody says, "Well, you got to have Baby Blood. It's a fantastic film." One I will get though is Umberto Lenzi's Nightmare Beach. It is a weird film. It's a slasher film of sorts, and it is a beach party movie as well. It has John Saxon playing what else? A police officer. Uh, it has Michael Parks in it as well. Um, but it's like, yeah, just look at. Don't know if I want to look at the trailer because the trailer gives away a bit much. But if you just watch a bit of the trailer, you see like a lot of wacky beach hijinks before you see anything else in the film, and that's pretty it's different. So it has a really cool cover, and I think 88 Films put this out in the UK in case if you're in the UK. Oh, that some people won't be saying UK a bit anymore, but in a little bit, but still we're still saying it for now. But Nightmare Beach does have some like a commentary. I think it's probably got a Troy Howard commentary on there. But Umberto Lenzi should be fun. Should be a blast. And I remember this movie kind of, and it does like really lean in to the beach party aspect of the film, which I think is kind of hilarious. You guys are so quiet. You know that? Have you guys seen none of these movies? All right, next up is a Pamela Franklin film, and it's called And Soon the Darkness. And I do not remember this film, but it's Robert Faust, so I'm probably going to pick it up. So there's the cover right there. Kind of creepy. Next up is Sudden Terror, which is I think John Hoff. So you have seen any of these stories? So Sudden Terror stars Mark Lester, Lionel Jeffries, and Susan George. I love Susan George. John Hoff, of course, is the guy, in case you don't remember, or if you haven't listened to that, just to this podcast that I did, episode that I did about Incubus, please do so. John Hoff is the director of Incubus. And you guys know that Incubus is one of my favorite Vinegar Syndrome releases that they ever did. And I think it's one of the most high quality releases as it comes as film-wise go. So he did Sudden Terror. He directed that one. So that has me really interested in that film too. Next up is a 3D film, which I kind of want because I do have a 3D TV upstairs and I do have a PSVR as well. I've got a PlayStation VR, by the way, and you don't have a 3D TV. Just, you can put a 3D disc to your PlayStation, put on your headset, and watch 3D. So Parasite, which it's an early Demi Moore film. There's always been like crappy editions of it, like all over the place. You find like this really cheap edition of Parasite, and it'll have like really kind of washed out coloring, or just look like a third generation VHS copy type of thing. I've never really seen a good copy of Parasite. So this will be interesting. I'm actually very interested in this one here, and it does have the 3D version of the film here. So could be a blast to watch that one. Now next up is one. Yeah, that's the same here. And do you remember it the same way that I remember it, as in like being kind of like not the best quality like copy? That's like Embryo. I can never get a good like with Rock Hudson. It's almost impossible to get a good copy of Embryo. The next one up here is a really kind of cool one. I remember this movie so well actually, and it's got Paul Michael Glazer and what's the name again? Susan Hogan. Yeah. So it's a John Huston film, and it's Phobia. And I don't want to give anything else away. Basically, Paul Michael Glazer from Starsky and Hutch, the original. He plays a exactly, and the additional prominence out there now from Synapse, I think, is it's utterly gorgeous. Starsky, right? And he plays this like psychiatrist in Phobia, and that's what it's about. It's about kind of confronting your phobias. Was Paul Michael Glazer a director? He probably directed. I'd have to go. I'd have to cheat and look. Hey Logan, right now we're talking about the Kino stuff that's coming out in October, because there's a lot of really good stuff. The Synapse version of Prom Night is incredible. It's the same when you got Curtains from Synapse. It was like seeing a completely different film, or like when I got Kathy's Curse from Severin. When you see these movies that have been on like so many different like kind of like 50 packs and 100 packs, and there's always washed out. They're always like VHS quality, and all of a sudden some company puts it out, does a complete restoration on it. It kind of blows your mind. But Phobia is a fun one. I did like Phobia. They did release Suspiria, and Java. They did a really good job. I'm not sure if Logan has the UK edition of Suspiria, but for me, like the Synapse version was the one that I went with, and I do like the color grading on it. Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. That's why, Logan, right now, um, I'm trying to decide what my 31 days are going to be. If you're like me, like uh, you're going to be like thinking way ahead of time. Yeah, I've heard the Snaps one is a better release. That's why I went with it. Well, my better half bought it for me for Christmas, and it was a surprise one. Um, but Phobia, I'm gonna get Phobia. I think I love the cover for Phobia. If you haven't seen it, I did find it's a psychological thriller. I did enjoy it, and which brings me to Trilogy of Terror 2. Now, as I mentioned before, this stars Lizette Anthony. Now, a lot of people, like I guess probably a little bit younger than me, are going to remember her as Jane. Not Jane. Yeah, probably Jane. Which I think she was Jane in Tarzan. Or if you're a Dark Shadows fan, she was in Dark Shadows: The Revival. She was Angelique. But that was her. No. Lydia Denier was Jane. Lizette Anthony was in Dark Shadows. There we go. The fact that I remember that scares me a little bit. But yeah, so I do recommend getting Trilogy of Terror 2. It's a really fun one. Uh, I like the stories. The stories are. I love Trilogy of Terror 1. It's a great, cool, like groundbreaking film for its time. Trilogy of Terror 2 is scarier. There is more kind of a visceral horror to Trilogy of Terror 2. The rat one is kind of creepy. It is kind of EC comics type of thing. I did really enjoy that. Aside from the sunburn, I'm okay. Cinematheque. But yeah, I am. right now I'm wearing a shirt. This is the first time that I've wore a shirt really in 2 days, except like to go get like food when I was going at the beach. I was wearing my Halloween shirt because I got this like with the the original with the knife and like becomes a pumpkin type thing. Um, and I got to order some went to order some fries, and this guy was there, and he's like, he was just staring, and I think there's something on me, something wrong, and all of a sudden, and he's just, oh yeah, your shirt's really cool. Pledge night, pledge night looks to be is going to be going, I think. Ooh, the David Tennant. I got the David Tennant years on Blu-ray because about that back. Remember back in the day when the when they put out this box set and they put out like the Blu-ray years for it was like up to Matt Smith, and they had like a remote that looked like a sonic screwdriver and a comic book and all that. I actually I got that one, so not upgrading right now. But if there's features down the road, I might. So after, I am so excited for the next series, season Doctor series. Oh, you mean the next season is in like the next one that's coming out on Blu-ray, or you mean the next one's coming out, or you're talking about the new show with Whitaker? Um, that's a good price. That's a really good price. So if you mean like the new series, I am. I wasn't at first uh, because although I think Whitaker is really good in the role of the Doctor, the showrunner Chris Chibnall, as yet throughout the series, that last series really didn't wow me with his writing. Actually, the stories were okay, but the weren't great. The then the New Year's special happened, and that changed everything for me. Uh, It was poor last season. Like that's that without a doubt. Like I thought she did a good job. I thought the cast was pretty good. I thought there's too many people in TARDIS. But same thing for Peter Davison. Like too many people in TARDIS. Like that's what they did with Davison as well. And they did it for the same reason, I think. With Peter Davison, this was the first time using a young actor in the role of the Doctor. They put a lot of people in the TARDIS. They kind of hedged their bets a bit. In with Jodie Whittaker, this is the first time that's been lead actress in the role over lead actor. So again, they put a few people in the TARDIS to kind of hedge their bets a bit. But I think that in this case, it does take away from like kind of focusing on the Doctor and letting the Doctor become their own entity. Now, all that being said, the New Year's special was incredible. They made the Daleks scary for the first time since Dalek really, because Daleks were in like the new Doctor Who series, but each subsequent like episode that they're in, they became less and less scary and became more like, oh, it's the Daleks again. Uh, and the first Moffat. You're not a Moffat fan? Some people go back and forth with it. I think he did. I think he did pretty good. I mean, like Chibnall, I thought would have been a great choice because of Broadchurch. Uh, but we'll see. I think that they made a mistake by not using some established villains in the last season, and I think that when they used an established villain, when they used the Dalek, and they did something new with the Dalek, they had these Scout Daleks. That was incredibly well done, and one of the best Dalek episodes that I've seen in the new series. I have heard that they will be using the Cybermen. Um, I in the new one, and I really hope that they do. Aside from Peter Capaldi's Mendosian Cybermen, I really don't like the Cybermen in the new show. Um, uh, they were taken from like I think like from a book or Big Finish audio. They really just kind of reused that were the alternate universe Cybermen, um, which was okay, but the design was too sleek and too. I just it just wasn't for me. But I'm old school. I like the Earthshock Cybermen. I like the Revenge of the Cybermen. I do. I like that old kind of cheesy look to them. But it has. I guess it has to. It has to keep going. I'm hoping that that the next series is going to be a lot better, and that they're gonna work on some of the mistakes that they made in the first. This is Chibnall's. That was Chibnall's first year, and Chibnall's hopefully will do better. If anybody has to go for this, because you know it was a little uneven, even though like ratings wise, it actually did really good. Um, I don't know if Neil Gaiman should be the showrunner because, but yeah, you did some awesome stuff. That would be cool. But I would say like keep Whitaker and like get rid of Chibnall if it has to go one of those ways. If they have to make that choice, season 4 has been the peak of the new Who in your opinion. Season 4, which one is okay? That's Tenet, right? So we're at. So first year is. I'm gonna go with Tenet. So is that Tenet and God, what's her face? Tenet the region. It is region free. I thought. Oh, thank God. Yeah, jab it if you can. If you don't have it, definitely get it. I love Donna Noble. Uh, and I had kind of like I used to watch the Catherine Tate show. I had kind of a semi crush on Catherine. I did seriously. I had a semi crush on Catherine Tate. But when she did what was it, the Impossible Bride, I think it was the episode. I can't remember the name of the episode now. But Runaway Bride, I think it was called. I think it was called Runaway Bride. She was so not likable in that episode that when they said that her character was coming back to be the full-time companion, I thought this is going to be horrible. I truly did. And you know what? She is the best companion for David Tennant's Doctor. There is none of this like romance stuff getting in the way. It's just really, really well done. Really excellent. Like kind of like they work together. They're a team. Donna Noble, and I will say this. I will go out and say this. Her portrayal and her character reminded me more of the old school companion, and one in particular. She reminded me of Sarah Jane, in the fact that she was there. She was the Doctor's partner. There's a scene that I always talk about in every Doctor Who. Every time I mention Sarah Jane, Pyramids of Mars, when the Doctor introduces Sarah Jane, he just slumps down in the chair and he pretty much like goes over and said, "This is Sarah Jane. She is my very best friend." And for David Tennant, that's Donna Noble, and they did a great job. You don't like the Ponds? You don't like Amy? See, Clara, you are the total like opposite of like a lot of people, because Clara was hated by so many people, not by me, my better half especially, basically because like it always seemed like and I gotta agree to a certain extent, it did become the Clara show, and that made it a little uneven. Like it did kind of become the Clara show. I liked Amy and Rory basically because again, much like Donna, it took out the romantic aspect of it again, and it just could like deal with the story itself. So we got to see like a different aspect of it. Like Clara's one of the most gorgeous companions. Say that much. But I don't know. I like her and I don't like her. Certain times I like her, certain times I don't. I would love to have seen some more stories of Clara somewhere, like a spin-off, like miniseries or something with Clara and the girl from Game of Thrones. I can't remember her character's name now. She has a really weird name. Oh yeah, like and same thing with well the girl that played Amy. Well, she went on to become really famous with the Marvel movies and stuff like that. And of course, Oculus, which is really good. If you haven't checked out Oculus, guys, check it out. Actually, pretty good film. I gotta grab something because there's something I forgot, and I will be right back. And Bill was my favorite of Capaldi's companions. Bill was incredible. She just like she was she was the ace of her day. I'll be right back. I'm actually wearing shorts today, and there's a reason for that because part of my sunburn were on my knees. Yeah, I have epilepsy and I forgot to take my pills, so that's where I was gone. I'm glad he's good in another life because you know what? He sucked. Danny Pink sucked and took away from Clara in the season Doctor Who that he was in. Oh my God, he was so bad. He was so boring. Thank God for like characters like Missy and Oswald. Osgood. I'm gonna get their names wrong tonight. I am, but really like the. So you never know where this is gonna go when it comes to this stuff. Um, okay, there is. Oh God, are the current companions? You know, I did know, and I just like. But the current companions, there's. Oh my God, the guy from Law and Order, UK, and he did a lot of game shows, like hosting game shows. But he's really good. Bradley Walsh, like he's incredible on the show. He's actually one of the better. He's always a scene stealer, actually. There is the guy. Who's also actually really cool. And there is a girl that hasn't had a lot to do in the in the show. So hopefully that's going to change, or they're going to get rid of some companions, at least one companion. Yeah, Ryan. See, Ryan was a good companion, and he works good with his like in the original Doctor Who, like with the grandfather thing. I think Bradley Walsh sticks out like Logan of all the companions that are on Doctor Who right now. Like he's a bit older, and he just has. But the only problem is that he's really good, but he's given a lot of like the really good lines that and kind of like him and his dynamic with Ryan and all that, and like the way he is the kind of the fatherly figure. It does take away from the Doctor is kind of like the big character. So you kind of want to focus on that, especially when you're trying to establish character. Anyway, that's my thoughts on it anyway. Uh, and well, you guys are. I think. Do you think they'll keep all three of them? Because I can't see them keeping all three of them for like another season. Not completely. Um, they've even mentioned like there being like another like somebody else might come in, and I can't use like I can't use like another. I can't see another companion or another coming into the series right now. Um, Someone's gonna die. So yeah, that's what I think too. I think someone's gonna die. And if anybody is gonna die, we all know it's probably gonna be the one, the best one there. Yeah, and that's not the first time that memory wipe was done. Actually, first one I can remember, like for the Doctor Who series, um, was probably during War Games, like War Games with yeah. Well, I think that was the last time that they did like a memory wipe when like when Patrick Troughton was forced to well that's the first time they did one anyway. When it was forced like to to regenerate. Like when we got to see the Time Lords, we got to see the Time Lords from Gallifrey, and they forced him to regenerate. And I think and Jamie, and whoever the female companion was at the time, they were basically placed in back in their time period, and they forgot basically what their whole time with the Doctor, which doesn't make sense because later on, you know, Patrick Troughton comes back and so does Jamie, two Doctors from Colin Baker's era. Oh, the last one from Kino, by the way, is Zoltan the Hound of Hell, with Michael Pataki and Reggie Nodder from Salem's Lot, which I gotta say I love. Your favorite Troughton episode is Tomb of the Cybermen. That was lost for so long. Tomb of the Cybermen is a really, really good episode from Troughton's era. I actually really enjoyed Enemy of the World because you get to see Troughton play two different roles, and he plays this really kind of like this dictatorish role in Enemy of the World. It's not so much like the sci-fi aspect of it, but I do like just him being able to like stretch his acting chops a bit with Enemy of the World. But Troughton was good anyway. A lot of people like really take from Troughton, especially like in the newer shows. Matt Smith's like portrayal of the Doctor was taken. He was really inspired by Patrick Troughton because this, like Matt Smith said when he was going to, was going to play the Doctor. He didn't know exactly how he was going to do it, and he watched Tomb of the Cybermen, and then he knew. My favorite Pertwee is one that is not a lot of people's favorite Pertwees, and that is the Damons. I really like the Damons. I just think they do a great job, like bringing in, of course, I think I love that the Master is like a vicar in it, and I just really did like the Dames. I really like that story. Inferno is a much better story, but I just really like that story for some reason. Start off on Doctor Who with Tom Baker season perfect. Now, when you start out, it's going to seem a little different. Robot was written before they knew who was going to play the Doctor. So, what's normally the case in Doctor Who, especially classic Doctor Who, is that the first story or the first couple stories that you'll see written actually, is written more with the previous actor that played the Doctor in mind. So the episode Robot is actually a really fun episode with the regeneration of that, but it does come off a bit like a Pertwee episode with a bit more like unit and stuff like that in there. But after that, I think after Robot, it really starts to do well. Ark in Space is incredibly well done story. Centauran Experiments, fun little two episode arc, and of course then we get Genesis of the Daleks, and that is amazing. That blew my mind, and to this very day, it is one of the top episodes of of all time. And I think after that, Revenge of Cybermen. That's the last one, right? Yeah. So it was the first time Cybermen had been used in a while, because there were no Cybermen in the. I could be wrong here, but I don't think there's any Cybermen in the Pertwee era. I think Pertwee got the Daleks, but for some reason he didn't have the Cybermen. I think like Troughton actually did like the Cybermen a lot, but during the entire Pertwee era, which was like 4 seasons, I think, there was no. I'm pretty sure there's no Dalek, no Cybermen at all. So this was like a big like return of the Cybermen with Revenge. I was gonna say, because I was trying to remember Web of Fear, and I don't remember it being like the best episode. Oh, they're fantastic. I mean, Logan, the first oh God, one of the first DVDs I ever bought was a pretty much a bare bones edition of Ark in Space. It cost me around like $35 or $40 at the time, and I was just so excited. I watched it over and over again. It had like a couple features on it, like not like the BBC features you see nowadays. It was pretty, didn't have a lot of stuff compared, but still it seemed like an amazing amount at the time. And I'm you're doing the right thing by starting with Sid. That's the number one for you. Classic Doctor Who for me. It's I got to go with Genesis. I really do. It's just an incredibly well done story. Davros would never be any better than he is there. Worst episode of the old series probably. Is Doctor Who my favorite TV show? Yeah, yeah. Actually, to be completely honest with you, it really was. I grew up watching Doctor Who, and I was nowadays the difference. Like, I'm older, and when I was younger, watching Doctor Who or reading Lord of the Rings or reading Spider-Man and comics and stuff like that was not considered a really cool thing to do. It's really cool now in today's society, but it wasn't back then. So yeah, Doctor Who was kind of a solo thing for me. Nobody else was watching Doctor Who with me back then when I was watching it. But I love it. Doctor Who is my favorite show, and I don't think there's any release that comes out. I mean, like any movie release, any box set release that comes out now that excites me as much as like getting a new like series or season, I guess, of the classic Doctor Who. I know there's an amazing Godzilla set coming out, but I still get extremely excited over the Doctor Who seasons. When I started watching it when I was about, I guess, around 5 or 6, I started watching it, and it came on PBS. Um, yeah, I think I originally saw it on PBS. They had it like a late Saturday nights, I think, if I remember correctly. And you'd usually like that's how much you love track. I'd go with Doctor Who, and I grew up with both of them. Track used to come on Saturday afternoons. No, I mean I'm not old enough to have seen the last episodes, and we got them over like where I'm in Canada, we wouldn't have had like any of those like episodes. Now, if you lived over in like maybe in Australia or over in South America or Abu Dhabi or somewhere like that, there's a really good chance that you may have seen, and you're a bit older, you may have seen one of the episodes that are now lost. But from like over here, like we got pretty much what the UK got. Picard of the fourth Doctor. I love Picard, but man, the fourth Doctor. And basically because as good as much as I really like Patrick Stewart, and I've met Patrick Stewart. He's a nice guy, um, and he does an amazing job as Picard. Uh, at the end of the day, as many people that have played Doctor Who over the years, if you say the name Doctor Who to somebody that has ever seen the classic series, ever, uh, they won't think of like Peter Davison. They're not going to think of Patrick Troughton. They're going to think Tom Baker. That's going to be the first name that comes to mind. That's going to be the first face that comes to mind. And for a lot of people that don't know who Doctor Who is, who've never seen the new series, who've never seen the old series, if you say Doctor Who to them, that means a long scarf, big teeth, and a slouched hat, and that's Tom Baker. I am willing to bet Cinematheque that at least some episodes that are considered lost are actually not lost. Well, are lost to the BBC, but there are private collectors out there that definitely have held on to some. Conspiracy theory, but I do think that there are some private collectors out there that have some episodes that we would really kill to have. Uh, Things like Marco Polo may be gone, but I'm sure there's certain like episodes, like maybe Lost Dalek episodes and stuff like that. Dalek or Dalek? How do you say it? Tom Baker run or Next Generation? Tom Baker. And I'll tell you why. Because I own the Star Trek series Next Generation. I own a lot of the Doctor Who, uh, but the Doctor Who is more rewatchable for me. And a lot of that may have to do with nostalgia as well, and a lot of that may have to do with the first season of Star Trek Next Generation. Not the best, not the best. A couple good episodes, like episodes were decent, but the let's just say Star Trek got a lot better. Uh, lot better. But no, I like I like the Master, or I like Anthony Anley's kind of like panto performance in as the Master. I like I like Jeffrey Beaver's job in the role. Um, I really like just things like Jensen Dialects I can watch over and over again. Actually, I'm not quite sure if they will. I could see them doing it if like maybe they animated them and use the audio tracks because they have the audio for I think all the Doctor Who episodes. Because somebody had always taped them off like back in the day, so they have the audio track, but they don't have the video for a lot of them. That's why you're seeing some of these animated ones. They've gone as early as Pertwee. Like over here in North America, we haven't got the Pertwee one yet. I'm actually kind of excited about that one. I haven't seen Green Death in a long, long time. So that's going to be probably one of the ones I'm going to go to first. But I like when it comes to a lot of those people. I mean, like Tom Baker's run is like you talk about horror. I'm hoping to do at least one Doctor Who horror inspired serial during the 31 Days of Horror. Uh, I heard that the Peter Davison one looks really good. I'm not sure because that's where they use a lot more outside shots or not, but but I've heard like good things about that one. So I will see because I have the three of. I got the Tom Baker season one, or it was like series 12, and Fang Rock. Oh, I love Fang Rock. And then I got series 18, or or season 7, whatever you want to call it. And then I got Peter Davison season 1 or series 19, whichever numbering you want to use. But for Trial of a Time Lord, I ordered the UK edition, guys, or the UK edition. I got the North American edition of Peter Davison one, but Trial of a Time Lord has a very special place in my heart, and I knew if I was going to get one that was going to be UK, if I could only pick it one UK one ever, I had to have be Colin Baker, and I had it to have it be Trial of a Time Lord, because I really really like that. I really like that arc. I do, even if she marries Brian Blessed, I still like that. I still like that story arc, and I like what they did with it. They did an incredible job with that show, and with everything stacked against them. And who doesn't want to look at Doctor in Distress in pure HD? Who doesn't want to do that, right? But I'm excited to learn what the next one's going to be, and I don't know when their announcements are. I'm just hoping for like another announcement soon for maybe for January. No, I actually haven't got the Macroterra one yet. I'm right now. I'm focusing on the the series sets or season sets that are coming out, and I'm going back in. I'll fill things in like later on. I do want the Macroterra though, 'cause that one I don't think I've seen. That one of the last ones? Probably. I'll let you guys know. Working with a sunburn here, so I'm a little more out of it than I normally am. I first season? Damn. I hope not. It's been rumored that season 26 actually could be like in the near future. I do want to see McCoy season next. That's what I want to see next is McCoy season. Uh, but I don't know if I go with the first one. Oh yeah, well he goes to different planets, but it's a TARDIS is time and relative dimension space, so it's a time traveling machine. So you can go to different time periods and different planets and different time periods, different planets. So you get a bit of both. What they did with John Pertwee though, the with John Pertwee, they started with season 10, which is like I guess midway. Is it set on? No, he's from another. Yeah, well, he's from another planet. Many of the stories are set on Earth. During John Pertwee's era, what they did was they stranded the Doctor on Earth, so that most of his stories within that time frame are actually set on Earth. But in the new Doctor Who, a lot of it's set. They'll come to Earth in different time periods, and even like some of the old stories, they do like they do Earth in a lot of cases. But you get a lot of like kind of like space stories and like ones in different. You're not going to see like it's not like Star Trek. You're going to see like two spaceships like battling each other, that type of thing. It's much more fun than that. Colin Baker is one of the greatest. I adore Colin Baker, and he had my the most gorgeous companion. Oh man, Perry. Perry was and still is. It is a massive phone box, but Javid, it's bigger on the inside. I love that line. Um, but no, no, that's the questions are good. That's what we're here for. Oh, you more than kind of you got completely screwed over. You got screwed over by people like Michael Grade, uh, who was a real. I know he's passed on and like that, but Michael Grade was a real jerk. They're both hot in different ways. Sarah Jane has a different type of hotness than Perry has. Perry has more of the. There's a reason Perry started the show in a bathing suit, guys. Um, and yeah. Oh, but basically, Colin Baker was the Sixth Doctor. When Colin Baker came into it, he did an interview with Starlight Magazine, which was a magazine that was around when I was a kid. And without it, there would be no Fangoria. Uh, anyway, so he did an interview with Starlight Magazine. He was very excited about playing Doctor. He said, I want to play it. I want to beat Tom Baker's record. I want to go on for 8 years. I want to go for more than 7 years playing the Doctor. It was something he really enjoyed. Uh, but the thing was that, yeah, you can definitely jump in with the Tom Baker one and like not have to know too much what's going on. Like some of the like the unit aspect of it, what can seem a bit confusing at first. All you really have to know for that is that the previous like actor that played the Doctor, because he regenerates, worked for like for this like government organization. Um, Sort of. I mean, basically, Colin was really good in a Peter Davison episode of Doctor Who. He played Commander Maxwell. Um, and he really got along with the people on the show, and one of them was getting married. So at that time, Colin Baker was invited to the wedding, and at that wedding party, Colin Baker apparently was on point. He was very charming, uh, and what happened basically is John Nathan Turner, who was the producer of Doctor Who, was the showrunner. He looked at he said, no, there's something about this guy. I think he can do really good. They had a conversation. This was the first time that an actor had like taken over the role of Doctor Who that had acted in the show previously. Oh yes, the Doctor dies. He regenerates. Basically, he regenerates, and another actor takes over the role. It's actually a really cool way to do it. So that way they can bring in other actors and have their own. And each, even though it's the same character, each person has their own personality as the Doctor. So they don't come in and have to play it like the other person. Um, with Colin Baker, there's a few things that happened. On his first the first thing they did was they started him like the way that it usually went with Doctor Who is that when a doctor dies, like and he regenerates to another doctor, At the start of the next season, the other actor takes over. With Colin Baker's one, they didn't do that. They put him in the last episode of the other Doctor season, called Twin Dilemma, and it was actually kind of a weak episode, but it does have a decent performance by Colin Baker. Uh, the idea was to have Colin Baker seem like really harsh and like kind of even mean towards his companion Perry, because this was a regeneration gone wrong, gone bad. Unfortunately, oh, see you next time. Thanks for coming in, Logan. Because of this, um, it really kind of like put the Doctor off to a bad start on a bad start. People weren't sure they were going to like seeing this actor play the role of the Doctor. Colin Baker's directly after Peter Davison. Uh, but what really killed it, aside from Michael Grade and the BBC people that didn't want to see Doctor Who on screen anymore, what really killed it was Eric Seward, who was the head writer of Doctor Who at the time, did not get along with the producer John Nathan Turner. They clashed a lot, and John Nathan Turner chose Colin Baker, without talking to Eric Seward, which was perfectly his right. He's the producer of the show, but Eric Seward, um, in my thoughts, I don't know if he did it like intentionally or not, but I do think he did sabotage the show a bit during that time period, and it did help with getting Colin Baker taken off the show. Eric Seward would later leave the series, and he would say when he left it that he didn't think Colin Baker was good as Doctor Who. I think you'll like it. I mean, like, there's the really good thing about it, Javid, is there's a lot of features and featurettes on there. There's like hours upon hours. Like the it's insane the amount of stuff, and like you're gonna learn more about the show than you ever thought possible to know. Because there's making ofs for all the shows. There's like other documentaries. They even have like on some of them they'll talk. You'll hear about the directors. You hear about the commentaries. Commentaries like crazy. Uh, you're gonna get like commentaries. You're gonna get like making ofs. You're gonna get like documentaries on things like the doctors. You're gonna sometimes you get there's a thing on some of them called strip fraction, and it's even a documentary on the comic book storylines that were done for each doctor. That's there. There's something called Tomorrow's Times, where lets you see kind of what the response was to the actor as he was taking over the role of Doctor Who. Uh, and a lot of other good stuff. So I started this as a Kino Horror thing, and then I went into Doctor Who. On the first one, there is I think 6 discs. Um, so that's 5 stories, which they each get their own Blu-ray, and a 6th bonus disc, which includes things like a over an hour-long interview with Tom Baker. It was very enjoyable, and a bunch of other stuff as well. Have you guys noticed that lately? Although I still talk about my horror and stuff, it has become a pretty Who-centric, Doctor Who-centric aspect of this. So I hope whoever watches likes Doctor Who as well, because we do get into that sometimes, especially lately with the new sets coming out. It's become like more. I love those. Those are the best. And to see Sarah Jane's like girl played Sarah Elizabeth Sladen's real life daughter on the show, Sadie Miller, and those is incredible. But yeah, I can't have yeah. If I don't have Doctor Who or Vinegar Syndrome on, that it's like the YouTube movie guys just take stuff out. It is. It's a really exciting place. Nobody ever thought Cinematheque that we would be getting these sets the way that we're getting them now. We dreamt about it, but anybody that's ever collected Doctor Who from back in the day knew that you'd get a DVD of a serial, and if you were lucky, if you were really, really lucky, and the storyline fit together, you get something like a Trial of a Time Lord box set or a Keys to Time box set. But aside from that, you were like buying this to get one from this season. I'm gonna buy, I'm gonna buy Daily Assassin because I want to get this. I need to get Mask of Mandagora. Classic Vinegar Syndrome box set. That'd be disturbing actually. Speaking of Vinegar Syndrome, because I always do mention them. Does anybody have any idea what the box is going to be? They did put out like a clue, which completely confused me, because it does seem to be maybe slasher-esque. Now that does anybody remember like the clue that came out? I think Don the Disc might have actually put it on their Twitter too. Basically, it was in their last newsletter that the Vinegar Syndrome did a clue on on the new box set that's coming in October. Like right now, unless it's got to blow me away because I can see myself picking up a bunch of Kino this time around. Halloween is going to be a really good. Well, Halloween's a month for me. Month of October is Halloween, and I want to like do some really good stuff. See? That's the thing. I don't have it on me, but I'm pretty sure. Let's see if I can find it here. I'm going down to this. I'll go under Twitter and see if I can find it from there. So let's go with. I'm just going to check really quickly. Severan's releases of Wax Mask and Killer Crocodile 1 and 2, by the way, have been delayed till the end of September. I wish they were October 1st. Those are interesting me, actually. I know it's here somewhere. I'm probably not going to find it, guys. I do apologize. I should mention the releases coming out for Criterion, because there were like Criterion announcements released, and for November for Criterion, just to quickly go over it for you, it is Cold War, The Day Trippers, which is actually one I actually do remember. I actually like that film. Betty Blue, okay, that's different, and All About Eve. So those are the ones that are coming up for November. Oh, one more. And Now Voyager. So that's 2 Betty Davis movies coming out in November if you're a Betty Davis fan. I've heard the rumor about the witchcraft one. There we go. Thank you, Dale. Is sure to stab, burn, maul, sever, and otherwise destroy you. There's no turning back. So does that fit witchcraft? Because I wanted your opinions on that, guys. And thank you so much, Dale, by the way. Because it's going to be it's definitely going to be an interesting. If it's the first 9 witchcraft, I'm there. I am definitely. They're bad, like cheesy, horribly acted films, but you look at the stuff behind me, guys. I don't think they've released I don't think there's a release date yet for Dawn of the Dead. I would love this. I would love to see it come. I don't know if I want it in October. Like I really want it. It'd be super expensive if it's witchcraft. I am going to have to talk my better half into that. I think it was Obscura Lupa. She's a YouTube like reviewer. I think she did all the witchcraft films, and some of them with her boyfriend. Actually, it was actually from Nova Scotia, Phelan. So if you know who those people are, they actually reviewed some of the witchcraft films, and they're. Yeah, I would have to have that set. Because you don't really. Is 9 the last one with Will Spanner? because in the early witchcraft films, like the star of it is, and it's played by a different actress throughout the series, is a character by the name of Will Spanner. It's kind of a warlock. Think of trying to think. Uh, God, I used to read the Jim Butcher novels. Oh, they are super cheesy, but you know me, Cinematech. You know that super cheesy is kind of my it's kind of my go-to. I love super cheesy films. I'm excited that Kino's playing out Zoltan Hound of Hell. Is that a good film? No, not really. Is it a film that I'm going to enjoy the hell out of? Yeah, yeah. Uh, and if you've never seen Zoltan Hound of Hell, there one of the plot points is that there's a guy played by I think played by Mike Pataki actually, whose last name is Drake, which actually is Dracula. So he's actually like of Dracula lineage, but it's the dogs that are. Anyway, it has to be seen to be believed. And of course, Reggie and Elder are always looking creepy because that's the way he looked. Ever watch anything that I found too cheesy? I don't think I've ever watched anything that I found too cheesy. Though I have seen movies that I can tell are purposely trying to be cult or cheesy or trying like really trying to become a cult film. And if you know one thing of watching these movies like I do, is that cult films aren't something that you put a checklist on and you make. Uh, Cult films are they become cult films, um, by the audience, and Samurai Cop is actually a really good example of a movie that was trying too hard to be Samurai Cop. Samurai Cop 2 was trying too hard to be a Samurai Cop 2. There was a lot of stunt casting in, and they tried really hard to make it. And I think anything, I think stuff made by oh God, the guy, uh, anything after the Room from that director Tom Wiseau, um, especially now, like now that he knows that he's in on the joke and he knows. Um, I don't know how well it's going to be done. Um, but sometimes, I mean, like Sharknado was just mentioned, and I think the difference with Sharknado, like at least the first one, is that it was a shark movie in at a time when there was like a ton of shark movies out there, um, and this one just happened to catch sort of the cultural zeitgeist. Um, but I thought it was fairly fun. Like they know what they are. I mean, there's ones that I find that are just there for the cash grab, or just there to like, or just trying too hard. And some of the Sharknado sequels are definitely doing that. And there's other ones that I can enjoy for what they are, like some of these Asylum films, or some of the early stuff like that. Ed Wood's a great example of a guy that made like some like some stuff that is definitely a questionable, like, but it's way better than he was given credit for. Um, way better than he's given credit for. Anybody that's like looks at Wood's work and says, this is the worst stuff they've ever seen. No, they haven't seen God's Uwe Boll, or they've never watched Things, which I will continue to mention. Manos, The Hands of Fate. Uh, Not the longest car riding. It's one of the longest car riding scenes of any film. Is in Manos, The Hands of Fate. I don't have that on Blu-ray, guys. I do have to grab that one because I want they put it like what's it, Snaps? I think Snaps, right? Put it in the edition of Manos, and I have to get that. And one of these days, I'm gonna find and buy like one of those Manos, like whatever poncho, whatever the hell you call it, with the hands on it, because I'm definitely going to do that for Halloween one time. I got to do that for Halloween. And I'll probably do a skit on here with the Manos thing on. Or I could always dress up like Torgo and like just make my own theme song. Um, there was a short-lived podcast, by the way, called Torgo's Pizzeria or something like that. I don't know what happened to it. Like, they just ended, and I used to listen to it all the time. Uh, but no, they the incredibly strange creatures stopped living and became mixed up zombies. How's that for Ray? Ray Dan Steckler is he's a person. He makes films. Uh, some are entertaining, but they're entertaining in all the ways that a cult film that should be entertaining. Does anybody remember a movie called Big Meat Eater? I'm kind of curious if anybody else here has seen that, but aside from me, I think it may be a Canadian film. Um, and there's a big guy in it that looks kind of like a lot like Abdullah the Butcher, actually. Anybody remember Big Meat Eater? It's a science fiction film and a kind of a monster film, sort of a possession film. It is a musical. There's music in it, uh, and I just really dug that film when I caught it. I think it was on Showcase one time. I would love to see that movie put out on Blu-ray with a big special edition. I love Big Meat Eater. Reefer Madness is fantastic. Um, I really enjoyed Reefer Madness. I like a lot of those like kind of like warning films. I'm a big fan of those like those basically be careful, don't smoke weed. Now weed's legal, and but back then it was like, oh, weed, the devil weed, or things like don't have premarital sex, or this and this could happen. Uh, there was some really great stuff like that were put out in the day. These like, the white coaters basically. I was not a big fan of the Worm Eaters actually. So worst movie candidate, yeah, I can probably give it that. It's definitely up there. But then again, go watch Things. Although it's so bad, it's actually kind of good, but it's still painful. It is so freaking painful. And the Astro Zombies from Ted V. Mike is another one I can think about. But that being said, guys, unfortunately, right now, I gotta go. I am in some super severe pain, and I gotta go put some more aloe on my body because, ouch, sunburns hurt. Sunburns hurt a lot. Anyway, we got to talk a bit about Kino. We talked a lot about Doctor Who. We talked about some really kind of cool cult bad classic films. Maybe we'll do some more cult classic stuff in the near future. Not a problem, and I hope you really enjoyed, Javid. Let us know what your thoughts are once you see it. I remember special effects were done back back in the day in the 70s. So, but still, I think that the effects that are done then are actually even the cheesy ones still work a lot better than some of the later seasons. Actually, I am Aaron. You guys are the movie club. You guys are awesome. Thank you for making me like get through this sunburn. Uh, Pretty, like better than I thought it would. But right now, I need the aloe. So have a great day. And aside from that, as hot as I'm feeling, it's still time for tea. Have a good evening, guys.